Okay, I'm going to start. As this is the first meeting in the new year, I sincerely hope that all of you will have a happy and successful 2021. Today, we're going to discuss a topic called, What is Happiness? Before we start talking about this topic, let me share with you my own personal experience. I was born an unhappy person. Trust me. As a baby and a little child, I cried almost every night, to the extent that my elder sister had to wake up to play ghost, G-H-O-S-T, to scare me so I would shut up, and this resulted in poor relationships with my elder siblings. Being a girl, I did not have fatherly love, because in a Chinese family, girls have no status. I could never get what I wanted. At that time, unaware of my desire to be recognized, I tried very hard to achieve good results. In secondary school, one year, I came first in the class examination and I was very happy. But in the next year, I came third, T-H-I-R-D. I was so unhappy that I went to the cemetery, sat down there, and cried. As I grew up, I had to work very hard to contribute to family support. I climbed my way up to be a secretary, a job which I wanted when I was 10. But after a few years, I became bored and dissatisfied and wanted to be a manager. Then I became a personnel manager, but found that I did not like the job and reverted back to be a secretary. Later, when I got married, I gave birth first to a daughter, Michelle. But my ex-mother-in-law wanted a grandson. So with 2 years' effort, I gave birth to my son, Kevin. Now that made me happy, but for less than a few months, because my ex-husband failed in his business, and I had to carry $1 million debts. I then divorced and had to raise 2 children on my own. I was very successful in business, but having no experience, I did everything at the expense of my health. I became very sick, depressed, and unhappy, and sold my business and immigrated to Canada with my 2 sisters and 2 children, thinking I would be happy living in Canada. Unable to cope with the change of environments and situations, I was very miserable and had stomach ulcer. As you can see, in those days, I could not remember a time when I was truly happy. It was not until years after I began to learn and practice Nichiren Buddhism did I start to feel happier. And I'm glad to tell you that now, after 24 years of practice, I am very, very happy with my life. So, what is happiness? Would all the accomplishments, relationships, and possessions and change of environments make you happy? Are we chasing happiness by means of the above? The external things we chase seem like they will make us happy. We struggle and sacrifice, plan and prioritize so that we can get those things that will supposedly make us happy. But does that really work? How do we find happiness? And what exactly is happiness anyway? President Toda was quick to point out that we are often confused about what happiness is, and that confusion was actually the cause of a great deal of unhappiness. We often chase things that we think will make us happy, but in turn, we make everyone, including ourselves, miserable. For example, when I first moved to Sydney, I wanted a big house, and I did get one. But it later turned out to be a burden and a chore because there were so many things to be done, to be handled and cared for. So let's take a look at how Buddhism views the idea of happiness. Buddhism teaches us happiness can be found only within ourselves. SGI President Akeda says that people often tend to think of happiness as something abstract and removed from their present realities. They imagine, for example, that they would be happier if they could move to another place like me, or that they would enjoy more comfortable and pleasant lives if they could change jobs. That's me also. They always feel that the grass is greener on the other side and place their hopes on a change of external circumstances. But a real sense of happiness and deep satisfaction in life can be found only within us. Do you believe in the possibility of lasting happiness? Or does this seem like something forever out of reach, a dream on a distant horizon? Would you disagree that you were born just as you are, with everything to cultivate an indestructible state of happiness? Do the fulfillment of our every wish and desire and the absence of all suffering make you happy? As practitioners of Nichiren Buddhism, we believe that happiness is being able to experience profound joy that comes from never being defeated by any problems in life. In fact, we use the challenges of our lives as a catalyst to deepen and expand our inner lives. This results from our efforts to manifest life's highest potentials. That is, wisdom, compassion, courage, and vitality on a daily basis. Nichiren Buddhism provides a concrete means to tap into these qualities that every human being holds in unlimited supply by chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. If we do so diligently and continuously, even amidst the most difficult times, happiness is definitely not out of reach. We can indeed move in the direction of our dreams and face our problems wisely and courageously. We can come to embrace the greatest of all joys, the ability to live life with a deeper and stronger sense of confidence, appreciation, and hope. We have the power to take charge of our own destiny and become a source of positive change in our family, community, and the entire world. All of us are searching for happiness, but the idea of what makes us happy differs from one person to the next. However, Buddhism expounds on universal happiness that is an expression of our greatest potential, which we call Buddhahood or enlightenment. Based on the teachings of Nichiren Daishonin, President Toda taught that there are two essential types of happiness, relative and absolute. Relative happiness speaks of a condition in which one's material desires or immediate personal wishes are satisfied. While there is no limit to what we can hope or wish for, there is a limit to what we can have materially and how long we can hold on to it. For example, we may get something we want at this moment, but the fulfillment we enjoy from getting it will not last. Through effort and planning, we may develop and adjust our circumstances to our liking, thinking this is happiness, like me moving to Canada. But should those circumstances change or disappear, so will our happiness. Such happiness is called relative, because it exists only in relation to external factors. For example, you've got a job you had always wanted, and you were happy. A year later, your boss left. A new person came in who proved to be very difficult to work for, and your happiness disappeared. Another example, you got married to your dream man. Later, you found that this guy was lazy, angry, and violent, and your marriage turned into a misery. Relative happiness means that your everyday wishes are fulfilled, one by one. For instance, to have $1 million, a wonderful spouse, fine children, a nice house or clothes, and so on. Is this what happiness is all about? No. This is just what we call relative happiness, which does not last. Because $1 million could appear when there is a financial crisis, the spouse could go against you, your children could turn against you, the house may fall crumbling down, and your clothes will get worn, and then the happiness is gone. So what is absolute happiness then? President told us that absolute happiness means that being alive itself is a joy. Now, to be honest, talking about myself again, I knew this principle long before practicing Nichiren Buddhism. I kept telling myself to be happy. I kept telling myself that being alive is happy, that I should be happy. Unfortunately, I failed because my life condition was very low. Absolute happiness means that living itself is happiness. Being alive is a joy, no matter where we are or what our circumstances. It is a life condition in which happiness wells forth from within. It is called absolute because it is not influenced by external conditions. It is a kind of happiness or sustained joy that you find within yourself. It doesn't rely on people, places, things, or goals. And it is stable through the flux of life. And the motto is, I am happy, no matter what. Unlike relative happiness, it doesn't disappear due to circumstances. And it makes both your life and the life of the others richer. It is absolute happiness that we should be longing for and pursuing. And actually, that is the great thing about it. We do not have to chase. It will come if we continue to chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo and practice Nichiren Buddhism. Beyond the troubles of just getting by in life, we often face unexpected problems. True happiness is not dependent on whether we have problems, but how we perceive and deal with them. Likewise, one who has established a life condition of absolute happiness can resolutely face any difficulty. Problems can even become a means to bring forth a powerful life force, enabling one to calmly and confidently overcome any challenge. In addition, the things that constitute relative happiness, such as possessions, relationships, or circumstances, or disappear upon death, death. Absolute happiness, however, which is the life condition of a Buddha, exists on the level of life that is eternal and transcends life and death. It is a benefit that we carry with us in lifetime after lifetime. President Ikeda says, chanting enables us to experience absolute happiness. There may be times when we give in to self-defeat and our determination fades away, or when things don't go as we hoped and we begin to feel anxious or fearful. But the important thing is to continue chanting no matter what. Whether our prayers are answered right away or not, we must keep chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo without any doubts. Chanting and having faith in the Gohonzon can bring forth the state of Buddhahood that is inherent in our lives. President Toda says that absolute happiness is a state where one is free of financial worries, where one enjoys peace and harmony in their family, and all that one sees and hears brings her or him pleasure and joy. If your condition is high, Even on a rainy day, you will still happy because you said, it's so romantic. And if your life condition is low, then your mood will be affected by the rain. So why did President Ikeda said that one is free of financial worries and then we can enjoy everything in life? Now please note that when President Toda mentions free of worries, enjoy peace and harmony, he actually means our inner life state, unaffected by external circumstances. For example, if you face financial problems, and if your life condition is high and faith is strong, you know that everything will be okay, that you have the power to overcome any problems in life. And from this belief, you are not bothered by your problems, and you don't worry. You know everything will be okay. Hence, you will always enjoy peace at heart. I remember when I first practiced Nichiren Buddhism, my daughter Michelle, at the age of 16, had stomach bleeding, and she lost half of her blood. When my senior member who introduced me to chanting drove me to the hospital, I said, I'm very worried. Hearing that, this member scolded me. She said, if you have faith, you will not worry. If you worry, that means you have no faith. And her words are so true. If you have faith, you will not worry. A senior member in Australia once said, I'm always happy because I have strong faith in the Gohonzon. I know that whatever happens to me will turn out to be a benefit. Remember, her words have greatly contributed to my happiness, even when faced with difficult moments. President Ikeda tells us that it is the heart-to-heart human connections we have that helps us in our darkest hour. He says, when beset by some misfortune, people tend to think that no one could possibly be as unhappy or unlucky as they are. They feel sorry for themselves and become blind to everything but their own situation. At such times, what gives someone the strength to go on living? That is human bonds, the desire to live for the sake of others. That is why SGI always encourages us to contribute to Kosen Rufu, to help others. As long as we are wrapped up in ourselves, there is no happiness because you are always thinking of yourself. When we courageously take action for others, the wellspring of our own life is replenished. And in helping others, we are helping ourselves. In encouraging others, we are encouraging ourselves. In summary, if we continue to practice Nichiren Buddhism and daily chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, we will attain a high state of life condition with wisdom, courage, compassion, strong life force, fortune, and peace. We know that we can overcome any problems and achieve any goals in our life, and therefore we'll always feel joy and happiness in our hearts.